In Miami, former Agent Kyra is busy doing what every action hero does best, sitting in one building and staring really hard at another building. Inside the target room, her soon-to-be unlucky enemy is bossing around a squad of soldiers who are frantically searching another place. The man, confused about why his intel is worse than a Google Maps detour, steps to the window. Kyra casually pulls out her gun and pops him in the head from a distance. They were looking for Isaac, her husband. Meanwhile, Isaac, a former agent himself, is living the stay-at-home dad dream with his 4-year-old son, KY. Isaac starts his morning by putting on his hearing aids, just in time to hear his son ask the age-old kid question, "Are those scars from fighting bad guys?" Isaac, who has more scars than a Game of Thrones character, admits they are and adds that mommy is still out there smacking villains around. That's why she can't live with them. Later, KY falls asleep, while Isaac listens to the song from his wedding and stares at the ceiling like a man who just realized he peaked romantically years ago. Cut to the next morning. Father and son are heading out when Isaac notices a suspicious car drive by. He brushes it off and drives downtown with KY singing his dad's favorite songs in the back seat. When Isaac tries to park, another driver swoops in, nearly causes an accident, and then insults him for good measure. Typical Miami driving. At the bank, Isaac gets hit with extra withdrawal fees. While Isaac is busy fighting capitalism, KY wanders off. And right on cue, 3 masked robbers storm in and shoot the ceiling. Chaos erupts, and Isaac tries to call his son over. But KY freezes like a deer in headlights. One robber threatens Isaac to stay back, but Isaac calmly negotiates for his son's safety. When the robber points his gun at the kid, Isaac tells KY to cover his ears and close his eyes. Then Isaac casually takes out his hearing aids like he's flipping a switch and proceeds to dismantle all 3 robbers with the efficiency of a dad cleaning up spilled Legos. He scoops up his son and leaves. Security cameras exist. Meanwhile, in Mexico, Jack, now the G7 Secretary General but also a part-time Bond villain, watches the news. His assistant Patrick brings him the kind of bad report that ruins mornings. Kyra is on a killing spree, and she's been knocking off her old squad members from Shadow Force, the CIA's not-so-secret murder club that Jack once commanded. Of the original 12 members, only 5 are still alive. That's a worse survival rate than characters in a horror movie. Patrick also shows him the bank footage of Isaac wiping out the robbers. Jack watches closely, spots KY, and realizes this is the kid that caused Isaac and Kyra to quit years ago. His solution? Put a $50 million bounty on their heads. Meanwhile in Spain, another agent, Andy, is watching her boyfriend Hank play basketball while trying to stay undercover, reminding him they're supposed to be spies, not influencers. Both of them work for the Inspector General, hunting down ex-Shadow Force members. Just then, they also receive the bank footage. Seems like everyone in the intelligence community is binge-watching Isaac's heroic bank brawl like it's on Netflix. At G7 HQ, Jack meets world leaders to explain why his past looks like a scandal-ridden Netflix documentary. He spins the story. Shadow Force was his baby, and it carried out dirty jobs worldwide. But agents Isaac and Kyra fell in love, which was against the rules. They bailed, stole sensitive intel, and now, years later, he's doubling the bounty to make sure they're gone for good. Meanwhile, Isaac and KY sneak into Colombia, trekking through the forest until they find a flooded old cabin to hide in. Isaac inspects the place like a paranoid Airbnb guest before letting his kid inside. At dinner, KY asks about his dad's whole hearing aid removal fight style. Isaac explains that silence helps him concentrate. The boy then asks if his dad was ever a bad guy. Isaac admits that both he and Kyra once thought they were heroes, but were really just professional bad decisions in tactical gear. Now, they only fight for good. Back in Miami, Kyra receives the bank footage and nearly cries when she sees her son again. Flashback time. For years earlier, she was patching up Isaac's wounds while they argued about Jack. Isaac wanted to rejoin Shadow Force to protect them, but Kyra refused, explaining that Jack had once been her casual naughty partner. In short, Jack caught feelings. She rejected him, and in revenge, he demoted her and kept throwing her at suicidal missions. She concluded Jack would never let them live in peace, so she decided to wipe out the team and Jack himself. Present day, she updates her ally Auntie with encrypted messages, and Auntie pivots her mission. Forget the other agents. Find Isaac instead. Back at the cabin, Isaac wakes up in the night, hears something, and discovers wet footprints. Before he can process, someone jumps him. It's Kyra. Husband and wife proceed to have a full-on WWE cage match. The house is basically destroyed until they notice KY watching them. Kyra reveals she's his mom, and finally, the boy hugs her. Sweet moment, ruined living room. Kyra tells Isaac that she's been protecting them by secretly killing agents over the years. But Jack's all in now, and they'll need allies. Isaac reluctantly agrees to involve Andy and Hank. Cue training montage. In the basement, Kyra outshoots Isaac and mocks him about his bad aim. He pretends not to care, but once alone, he proves he's still got it with perfect shots. Meanwhile, Jack rallies the surviving Shadow Force members and doubles the bounty again, now $100 million. He also introduces his informant Avery. The family gets ambushed on the road by enemies with bikes, trucks, and guns. Kyra stuffs KY into a hidden compartment with headphones. A massive chase ensues with explosions and car flips until their vehicle tumbles into a river. But the family escapes into the woods like damp raccoons. They hide in an abandoned mine and start suspecting there's a mole. Jack, furious about their survival, vents his anger by literally beating up Patrick and Parker before rehiring them minutes later. Classic toxic boss. Then he gets a call from Kyra, who lures him to his private island, threatening to leak his dirty secrets if he doesn't agree. Meanwhile, Isaac hijacks Auntie and Hank's van, thinking they're traitors. It's tense until KY asks for music, and everyone starts laughing. Turns out, they've been Team Kyra all along. On the island, Kyra tries to seduce Jack just long enough to steal his gun and shoot him. Unfortunately, he's wearing a bulletproof vest. She's captured, beaten, and restrained. At the same time, Isaac and Annie's safe house gets raided, and Isaac is captured too. KY is snatched. Annie is dragged in. Hank is revealed as Avery, the mole. Jack gloats about using KY as the next-gen Shadow Force recruit. Kyra breaks down and calls out Jack's abuses to the other agents. But then Patrick and Parker flip sides, revealing they're undercover for the government. Chaos breaks out, and everyone shoots at everyone. Parker gets stabbed but fights back. Auntie stabs an agent with his own knife, and Isaac and Kyra grab weapons to join the bloodbath. Avery runs off with money because Trader's gonna trade. Amid the chaos, Annie rescues KY, while Parker faces off with agents and eventually kills one with her own gun. Kyra duels a female agent hand-to-hand and ends her with a knife to the neck. Isaac torches one agent with a gas can explosion and shoots another. The family finally regroups, but Isaac insists they must finish this once and for all by killing Jack. Cue the boat chase finale. Jack rams their boat, bullets fly, explosions light up the sea, and eventually Jack crashes into another vessel, creating one massive fireball. Isaac then fights a sword-wielding agent in the woods, takes off his hearing aids to focus, and wins in brutal fashion. Jack, meanwhile, crashes a wedding, because why not, and shoots up the reception. Kyra confronts him, but he beats her down. Isaac arrives just in time, puts on his hearing aids, and hears their wedding song playing on the speakers. Using a subtle cue from Kyra, he shoots Jack through her shoulder. She finishes the job with her own bullet. Jack falls into a pool, dead for real this time. Romantic murder, couple moment secured. 6 months later, KY gets a normal birthday party without grenades or assassins. Auntie calls Kyra to invite her to a new, less evil Shadow Force, but Kyra says maybe someday. For now, Isaac lays his head on her lap, overjoyed to learn she's pregnant. Happy ending.
That's all for this movie. Like, comment, share, and subscribe for more videos.